Namaste. This is Maya Tiwari, Women's Power to Heal Mother Earth. The topic today is about the Egregore of peace and harmony. First off, what is the word Egregore? Its ancient meaning has several dubious understandings. Originally, it was described as an occult concept, representing a distinct non-physical entity that arises from the collective group of people or thought forms. The concept referred to angelic beings or those celestial beings that watch over the earth. Specific rituals and practices were associated with the Egregores, namely within the Enochian traditions. But the Egregore comes from the French word Egregore, and also an ancient Greek word, but also used in Russian literature. More contemporarily, the concept has referred to psychic manifestations, which we call thought forms, which is the subject that we are talking about in terms of peace. Basically, we are calling for an egregore of peaceful, harmonious movement. Within myself, within yourself, within each one of us. When I first started the Peace Mandala World Global Manifestation for Peace, that work has reached more than 1 million people who've taken the vow of ahimsa. Ahimsa means harmony, peace, self-peace most of all. Today I want to talk about the thought form or collective thought form. I call it the Egregore, more in terms of the modernization of this word and its concept. In the Akashic Records, which is an anthroposophical term, but the word Akasha is Sanskrit, which comes from the Vedic culture, Vedic tradition, from which so much of our origins of understanding have arisen. And in Sanskrit, the Akasha is the endless space, word for ether, but not necessarily the manifested sky or atmosphere. We need to understand Akasha as cosmic space, as the indefinable, infatigable, enormous, infinite space that each of us has within us. Thought form and Akasha, an interesting connection in that our thought form is also part of the form of Akasha. Our collective thought form is also powerful because it is held by the container of the universe, which, let's say, it's the Akasha, absolute space. And therefore, that thought form is extremely powerful. I have been able, through my own personal experiences in this life, which has been manifold layers of excruciating pain to blissful understanding to exquisite discoveries. And through all of it, I have put together this podcast because I wanted to share my own discovery, my own understanding. Leo Tolstoy said that we cannot forgive until we understand everything. But there's no such thing as understanding everything, because basically everything is never as visible and transparent as we would like them to be. Our power to reflect and to perceive is great in the human anatomy. However, our perceptions can lead us astray. And oftentimes when we are in pain or suffering, or have become victimized with certain elements of our society, we fail to see the great absolute truth because of our personal experiences and our personal perceptions associated with those experiences. But I will get back to that later, because today we want to talk about the Egregore of peace and harmony. And in the background is that beautiful man, Deuter, with his beautiful music. Thank you, Deuter. Getting back to our talk, the Egregore of peace. We know that the collective thought form is powerful. And that is why great consciousness and great awareness can be found doing very harmful, dark, and evil things as well. And we never could quite understand that dichotomy of being. But each one of us has the potential to that dichotomy. And I'll tell you why. Our thought forms are influenced greatly by the collective thought form. And if we happen to, in the manifested state, be clued into a thought form, collective group that intends harm towards someone in the society or something in the society or a concept in our society, then you will be surprised to find that very good people who believe in the divinities, who contribute to goodness in their community and society, that these people can also be recruited because of the powerful thought form in a group. Today we are looking at a devastating amount of chaos in our midst. At this pivotal time of humanity's progress into awareness or collective consciousness, we are being scrubbed by grief and sadness, anger and loss and things we cannot explain. We are facing an amazing catastrophic climate change, pandemic, hunger and violence across the world. And we sit back, sometimes in sadness, sometimes in hopelessness, feeling very much alone, despite the fact that we live in communities, we live with family, and we live with people. This is why we must make a sankalpa, an intent, if we want to see peace and harmony back into our universe. Then we must make a sankalpa today, or I encourage us all to make this sacred intent today, that we will become the thought form of the Egregore of peace and harmony. And whether or not we want to join a group, or whether or not we want to join whatever, this is in the Akasha, this is in the Akashic field, that our thought form is so powerful that it will connect to every thought form that wants harmony, that wants peace, that wants self-peace, and that is willing to do the inner work to create such a reality. I have moved to the high desert of New Mexico after spending many, many years in the abundant, prolific, farrowed forests of North Carolina. And before that, the incredibly intelligent and beautiful city of New York. And it is sparse here. The difficulty that I have spoken about, that have followed me about in more than the last decade or so, continues here very much. And what I am able to see is that good people, amazingly kind people, can also contribute to the dark, evil forces when the thought form is powerful and they're recruited within it. I don't want to get off topic again today. I will like very much to stay with the egregore of harmony, of us creating this for ourselves. But I wanted to show you the other side of the coin, the other side of light, which is dark, which, as I said, is a dichotomy that each one of us as human people have and can be influenced and can be swayed. And accepting that, we must be ever more careful that we choose the sankalpa, or the intent to self-peace, to self-harmony, to the elevated status of awareness, which prevents us from being recruited consciously, subconsciously, or communally. Why is this so important today? It is important because we live in the chaotic state of unrest. Mother Nature does not create these unrest for us. The great goddess, the great divinity of this universe, the maternal divinity of the universe, the divine feminine of this universe, the Shaktified force of this universe, understand that we humans were given the power to reflect, the power of intellect, or buddhi, the power to know, the power to our own willfulness, the power to make change, the power, most of all, to awareness. And therefore, it is that collective thought form that is left to rule the universe. Otherwise, she would be interrupting her very creation. And so, she observes, she watches. She is the cosmic egregore, so to speak, over all of it. And so, we, the humans, must take complete accountability and responsibility for the disasters we are facing today because of our collective thought form, because of our unawareness of how powerful the collective thought form truly is. The egregore of good or the egregore of evil, we must choose, and we must do the inner work to preserve that which we choose. It is not about judging people. It is not about the good guys, the bad guys, the evil ones, and the bright ones. I have seen it all. At least I think I have seen it all. Perhaps there's more that will be unveiled, and we shall soon talk about that as well. But for now, as I said, it's not about people having two faces, one very pleasant and the other one knifing you in the back, although I've also experienced that quite a lot in my life and of late. It is about how awareful we are of our thought form and how we preserve it. It's not even about forgiveness. It is about forgiveness, but it's not the way that we feel, and it's not the pathway that we normally take to forgiveness. We can keep forgiving, we can keep judging, we can keep forgiving, we look at the same atrocities day in and day out, and we can continue to forgive, and the atrocity continues, and then we forgive, and then it continues. So there has to be something beyond that conscious act of wanting to redeem, wanting redemption, wanting to forgive, wanting the good. We have the power of awareness, Sat Chit Ananda, that power, that endless, infinite power of awareness. And so we must constantly grow into that awareness. We must constantly preserve that awareness on a moment-to-moment basis, not of the past, not of the future, but of the now. That awareness in which we say, I am conscious that I'm being influenced this way or that way by my community, or by my family, or by the subtle pressures around me. But I choose my awareness. I choose my higher self, and I will continue to watch. I do not have to participate in the good in my community. I do not have to have the action participate in the bad of my community, but I have a responsibility to observing, to being the witness of my own awareness, so that I continue to preserve the egregore of harmony and peace that I so seek, that I so choose, that I so intend to be the beacon of my life, that I so intend to have as the chariot and the reins in my own hand. And then alone can we continue to walk forward and shed the light that we need in our universe today. I thank you for listening. This is an extremely profound topic. I'd love you to chime in on your thoughts about this. I love to hear them. But it is interesting how the difficulties and challenges in our life can take us to the deeper space within that endless, infinite, blissful field of Akasha, where only awareness resides, where we know truth and non-truth, where we can tell the difference of what is right and what is not right, of the dharma, of the values of our human life, where we can take responsibility for our mistakes and our misthoughts, and where we can choose to contribute to the greater thought form in our universe, so that we become the light bearers, we hold the light, and we don't have to be born with this rarefied and special karma to be able to hold light. All we need is to understand that we make a choice to the egregore of peace and harmony, self-peace and harmony for all. Thank you for listening, and may peace be your journey.